All right, so moral of my channel so far is that I've got ADHD and I like to make candles. And yeah, so today I'm going to do my second 4-hour test burn on all of these candles here. Two of them had their wicks replaced with a CD4 instead of a CD3. And that would be this one and this one. Vanilla and homemade blueberry crisp. So I'm going to set these up and I'll be back in a second. All right, so this is the many stages. So I have everything set up. I'm sorry if anybody is OCD and the ones that are not in order are bothering you. They actually do bother me a little bit as well. So these are the two that have a CD4 instead of a CD3. The rest all have CD3, and this is an EC26 coconut soy wax from Hive and Honey. All right, so I've got multiple Baccarat Rouge testing. There's 8, 9, 10%. There's another 8% and another 8%. This one in the back is from Fizzle Me That. This one is from Wholesale Supply Plus. And then these three are all Wholesale Supply Plus as well. I've got sugar, lemon, birthday cake, teak wood, mahogany, volcano, vanilla iced woods, cosmic sky, tobacco and bay leaf, lilac, marshmallow fireside, homemade blueberry, vanilla, cotton candy, espresso, northwest pine, and triple citrus. I promise you this is quite the array of scents to be burning all at once, but this is safety testing for the ASTM standards, not performance yet. First, I am looking to see if these wicks, which have not been trimmed yet, will burn safely with these fragrances in these jars. I'm going to trim the wicks and I'll be right back. Okay, so now I've gone through and smelled everything. Most of them have a pretty good cold throw. Baccarat Rouge is a little bit tougher. I've got some that I can smell pretty well, but it's not as strong as I'd like. Vanilla is very light. Blueberry is strong. Sugar lemon's light. Birthday cake is strong. Marshmallow fireside is lighter. Cotton candy and espresso and lilac are strong. Teakwood mahogany is very light. Volcano is great. The tobacco and bay leaf is very light. Northwest pine I can smell. Triple citrus I can smell. Cosmic skies is light. And iced vanilla wood smells great. Now it's time to light them. All right, so I'm going to use my electric lighter. Some of them were off center, so I kind of corrected them a little bit while they were still wet the last time, but they will likely still be some that are not centered perfectly. I will work on fixing that again this time after 4 hours and they've cooled down. If you guys haven't used these electric lighters, they're great. All of these wicks have been trimmed to 1/4 inch, and I will set my alarm for 1 hour. Alrighty. Let me set that alarm. It's also good to note that I have my heater on right now, so I'm gonna, shut that off. There we go. Timer on. Those are all room sprays that are curing. Important not to have any kind of airflow outside of the usual. when doing safety testing, as that can mess with the performance. This is off topic, but this is what soy 10 looks like after it's burned. Isn't that beautiful? And these were like 1 month into my candle making, so not bad. We're gonna go ahead and let this one burn over here too. I'll just show you. Trim and trim. These ones I can tell you are ultra core. Oop. Funny, I was looking for a lighter, but there's two right there in the back. I might just test a bunch of different candles right now since I've got a 4-hour test going anyways. So that's what it dries down like. I'm going to go ahead and pause and start some other candles because why not? I've got these two Baccarat Rouge candles. We'll test those. So this one is from Midwest Fragrance Supply. Off center terribly. Looks like I've got a CDN3 and a CDN4. Okay, so I'm going to add these 3 to the lineup. They are all the fragrance oil called Bite Me. Oh, I'm going to use this one. That one is a Premier 750. This is a coconut apricot wax. That one is a CD3 like the rest. And then this one is also a CD3. So I'm kind of comparing how CD3 burns in the coconut apricot versus the cocoa soy. Let's go ahead and just take a little look at how these flames are doing. First 5 minutes, you're kind of watching to make sure that none are super struggling and that none are extremely big in the first 5 minutes. Those would be automatic fails. All right, welcome to the messy side. So now I have, going off my list, I have a triple wick, which has 3 CD3s. These are all the coconut apricot. And then I have 2 4-ounce gold containers, one with a 02.375 Ultimate with the Baccarat Rouge at 6% by Wholesale Supply Plus, and a Whisper 3.5 at 6% from the same company. This one is 6% with an Ultimate 275. These are both 8-ounce containers, and then this one has a Ultimate 2.5. And then this one is more for my own. Look, it's got an hourglass. But this one is a Premier 9 or 745. So we're going to go ahead and light these. It is 10 minutes into the test. So that one looks okay. We'll see how the some of these wood wicks I've had a little bit more experience with since I first poured these. So we'll find out if some are largely too big, like possibly this one, or if they are too small, like possibly this one. And then with one of my other candles that I made, that wick's pretty long right there. I'm gonna cut that one. Some of the other ones at 6%. See, that's much better. At 6%, the Baccarat Rouge actually smelled better than the other ones. So we're gonna go ahead I'll keep my notes close by because while I can remember all those ones, the sizes are really easy. These ones are all over the place. And then because I'm testing so many, I'm also going to bring over my other candles so that they're all in one spot. Plus, then I can count how many I'm testing. And guys, that's not testing all of these. Now, the cool thing about the coconut apricot wax from Candle Science, nope, from California Candle Supply, is that it can be cured in 24 to 48 hours. So that's pretty awesome. See here, this premiere in the back. I thought that wick might be a little bit too long, so I'm actually going to trim that now because you can see it's longer than a 1/4 inch. ASTM standard testing requires wicks to be at a 1/4 inch. We're just going to do a overhead real quick and kind of bird's eye view of where all these candles are at so far in their burns. It's been 10 minutes. Some of them just lit. Okay, you guys should have seen how precise I was at blowing out just that candle over all those. Okay. And then with the wood wicks, I have seen people say you need to light them and then trim them. What I can tell you off the bat is I'm pretty sure this one will be too big. This one might be too small. All right, here goes. I'm going to set another timer. Well, no, I'll just know that these ones get checked 10 minutes after the rest. All right, that one I accidentally put out trying to center the wick a little bit. All right, so here's our little update on those two. You can see how that one, zoom, not get closer. You can tell it was moved over considerably as that flame would have been in the center of that melt pool. Like that one. So we'll see how that corrects. And then, so it has now been 15 minutes. You can also see where some of those were corrected based on where the melt pools are. That one needs to be corrected. So does that one. That one looks good. Little off center. Little off center. Good. 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 You guys will start to recognize it as well now. All right. I believe that's 32 candles with 3 different types of wax, including the one soy 10, which is a beautiful, beautiful wax. I don't like when stuff is in the melt pool. So a lot of these things I recommend not doing at home. But I just used a little pair of needle nose pliers to get that flammable item out of there. Okay, so after about 10 minutes, it is very clear to me that that one is probably too big. I could probably get away with switching that right now. But instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it out, and I'm going to carefully take the top burned part off, relight, and see what happens. So we have soy 10, coconut apricot, and and coconut apricot. Ooh, that's pretty. Look at that. Look at that. Ooh, check that out. Okay, easily amused, easily distracted. Look at those sparkles. Okay, woo. Yes. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's pretty. Okay. And all of these are EC26. Let's go ahead and do another zoom. Those flames all look really healthy to me. Nothing too small, nothing too big. Goldilocks. Everything's just right. I need blinds in this room. Okay. I could stand here and watch these forever. Another thing about me is if I do not continue this video as one entire video, I will likely forget to ever post this, and I really would like to post this one. All right, so I'm going to talk about what everything here is. I've got 3 of the clear 8-ounce are Baccarat Rouge with CD3s at 8, 9, and 10%. That would be these 3 right here, 8, 9, and 10%. Those are all with Wholesale Supply Plus. And then here, these 2 black ones are Baccarat Rouge from Midwest Fragrance Supply at, what was it, 11%. And those have a CDN 3 and a CDN 4, which is kind of hard to tell since I adjusted the wick on this one and it's kind of correcting itself. But if I had to guess, this was the CDN 4 and this is the CDN 3, because you can kind of see that melt pool from the first time looked smaller, but it was off center. So I'm guessing that's the 4 and that's the 3. It's written on the bottom. And then the Baccarat Rouge by Wholesale Supply Plus with the coconut apricot wax. These last ones I was just discussing, these 5 here, are all EC26, which is coconut soy wax. So we'll go back over here. Those are the 9-ounce clear is a Premier 745. The 8-ounce orange container is an Ultimate 25. The blue container is an Ultimate 275, although I think the bottom says 375. So I'll have to verify that. And then the 4-ounce gold, one is a 275 ultimate, and the other is a Whisper 3.5, which I'm pretty sure I'm dyslexic and those are kind of backwards. And then the 3 wick is a 14.5 container with 3 3D 3s. 3D CD3s. Wow, that was hard. Which is likely too big, but I believe I was under the impression, sorry, there's a bubble. Sometimes you can get the bubble out. All these things don't do at home. Okay. And then I think I had one more sticky note. All right, so then I also was doing wickless testing, which is where you pour the candle without the wick, and then you put the wick in after it is hardened, so that if it's not the right size, it's a lot easier to pull out because it doesn't have the wick tab on the bottom. The wick tab being one of those guys right there. So that sticks it down to the bottom. And when you don't put one of those in, it's a lot easier to pull the wick out and put a new one in. That's when you would want to poke a hole with something long and skinny like a thermometer and insert a new wick in and then melt it with your heat gun. So the 3 that we're wickless testing are the fragrance called Bite Me at 8%, and then 2 of those have a CD3. It's on there, CD3, those 2, and then a Premier 750. Alrighty, I'll be back. So far, it's been 32 minutes since we lit the first 20. So this is at 1/2 hour. And then those ones are probably about 20 to 25 minutes. Okie dokie. I'm going to find something else to keep myself amused, so I stay off my phone and let this video continue. All right, so in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and make a perfume oil. So I went ahead and balanced this out. This goes down to 0.3 of a gram. So this one, I only want 1/2 of a gram. Look, I can do 1 drop, and it can measure 1 drop, which is really good for perfume making and high precision. 1 more drop. So this is a jasmine scent, which is very strong. Okay, so that's perfect. 0.511. And then I do write all this down. So we're going to go ahead and write that down. So we have 0.511. We'll leave the lid off. And then the next one is going to be 5 grams of the Baccarat Rouge. These are the 3 scents I'm using from Virginia Candle Supply, because to be honest, I'm finding this one, hold on, this one not only has a really strong scent and it's allowable to be used in higher amounts according to the IFRA. Well, those are the two reasons actually. So it can be used up to higher percentages for different fragrances or different categories like perfume, soap, candle making, lotions, reed diffusers, all those. And some of the other Baccaras that I've used just can't be used in such high amounts. And then this one has a really, really nice smell. So I'm going for 5 grams of the Baccarat. I went ahead and cleared that one out again because I'm trying to get exact measurements. This perfume oil is going to have a total of a 30% fragrance oil load, so it's technically an extrait de parfum instead of just eau de parfum. Of course, the difference being that this is a perfume oil slash body oil. All right, 5.03, perfect. And then I just drop that back in here. I'm going to go ahead and put that last little drop. So I am on a mission to make Baccarat Rouge scented everything. So that's 5.053. Okay, really hard to write when I'm also talking and holding the phone. All right, so I did not do this on camera, but I did check the IFRA on all of these. So really important when doing anything with fragrance oils is that you're always paying attention to the IFRA standard and how much you're allowed to use. So this one in fragrances is, I think, 28%. And then, well, I've got them and I was using them earlier. I usually try and write them on here, but I think I forgot. And then this one was like a 9%. And then this one I have to double check. But at the measurements I'm doing, all of these are totally fine. So next is going to be the saffron cedarwood. Oh man, I don't know how long I wasn't taping for, but I just added the 3.5 of the saffron cedar. Go ahead and pause it. I don't know what all was missed, what all I talked about. But one of the things that they do, oh, I know, I was talking about how it's really nice to use these straight out of the shower. You put it on and it helps keep in moisture. It doesn't moisturize, but it holds in the moisture. And then you can use that to prolong your scent. Not only that, but it's also a perfume oil, so it also gives you that delicious smell. And then if you spray your perfume on top of this, what you have is an even longer lasting scent. So here I'm going for 21 grams of fractionated coconut oil. It's funny, sometimes when my wood wick candles are burning, I think that it's raining outside. Which of course it's not. It's beautiful outside. All right. Oh, look at that. Maybe I bumped it. Wow, it really doesn't want to accept that last little bit. There we go. Okay, so there's that. I'll go ahead and we're going to add some gold mica because it adds a little shimmer and it's pretty. So this is called bright gold mica, and it's a big old bag, and it's leaving pretty sparkles in my air. But I just start out with a teeny tiny scoop. A little bit goes a long way, but I also want there to be a nice amount of sparkle. There we go. That's the size I'm looking for. Okay, I'm gonna spill that. So the really fun thing is that right now, everything that I'm making is for myself. It's all getting tested for myself because obviously I'm not going to buy any or sell anything until it has been fully tested. Okay, so I'm just going to show you. So this is before anything has been mixed. Still got the mica down there. Haven't mixed in anything. And so, sorry, I can't talk and shake at the same time. So any oil mixed with mica will settle, and that's okay. You just have to shake it before you use it. So that is how that turned out. And we'll just do a 15-minute check. So by that I mean there is 13 minutes left. So just kind of looking at all these. So I am one of those people that does not believe that you want a full melt pool in the first 4 hours. I like there to be some hang up so that as it gets farther down the container, it doesn't get as hot. I'll be back. I'm going to put the phone on the charger for a little bit, and we'll be back to look at that 1 hour difference. Real quick though, I'm going to go ahead and show you what it looks like when I use just a little bit. I'll go ahead and put some of that out there. We do not need that much. We really only need a couple drops, but we're testing the fragrance. So we're going to put 1, 2 drops. Carefully rub it in. I'll do that off the camera because I also want to give it a smell. Alrighty, so you probably can't see the sparkles, but it's very faint, nothing crazy, and it smells really nice. It's a little bit stronger than Baccarat. I think I still went a little bit too much on the jasmine, but it smells really nice. I'm excited to see what the dry down smells like. And you guys, how pretty is that? So this one is 6 grams, no, 5.5 grams of the Baccarat, 3.5 grams of the saffron and cedarwood, and 0.5 grams of the jasmine. This one I made earlier, no sparkles in this one. This one is Tahitian vanilla and Fruit Loops. So this is a gourmand scent. And then this one is, so this is like the one I just made, but this one has basically half and half of the saffron and cedarwood and the Baccarat Rouge, but then it also has 0.5 of the jasmine, which if I would have looked at this, I would have realized that jasmine was really strong. But this one, the dry down smelled really freaking good, which is why I'm excited to smell the difference. So really it was like a 1 gram difference in measurements on these two here. Everything was the same except for I used more Baccarat in this one than I did in this one. So that actually tapered down on the jasmine a bit. No, the jasmine's there. It's beautiful though. I'm not going to lie. It is beautiful. And then this one is actually one of my favorites. So these are the labels I put on. So I made that this morning. It's the second Baccarat oil I used, and it's 30% fragrance with, yep, you guessed it. See that? This is what it looks like shaken. And this is what it looks like when it's settled. So when you get these oils, you just gotta shake them before use. And so this one is my favorite so far. The Baccarat really just is amazing. So I'm excited to figure out my business name and my labels and to start making this business of mine really happen. Okay, I need to let this thing charge because I've only got 10 minutes till I got to be back over at those candles across the room. And yes, you want to see from behind me? There they are. Those are all vessels. Super exciting. Okay, so I just put more of that one we just made on my arms. That smells so good, but the amber, the jasmine is so strong. And you guys saw, maybe if I wasn't the part where I forgot to videotape, but I only put 0.5 gram out of 9 grams of fragrance in this 30 milliliter container. half a gram, and oh, it smells so good. Super jasmine-y. Like, I'm gonna make another one right now with like a drop of jasmine. I'm telling you, a drop. But first, I'm gonna put the Baccarat Rouge one on. And you guys, I just rub it in like it's lotion. Makes my skin really soft. Oh, there we go. There we go. So I just like to take it like this, whoop, and make a nice little line of it down my arm. If any of you guys have minds that aren't always clean and nice, and I'm trying not to say if any of you have dirty minds, please don't say anything about anything. So good though. Okay. Enough of that. All right. Well, part 2, because I got a phone call, which stopped my video. All right. So 1 hour. See, so this one here, the Baccarat's got a little mushroom, but that's okay. None on that Baccarat. And I like to look at each of them individually and take pictures from the side and the top. And so one thing it's important to remember is that right now we are not checking for the hot throw. We are checking for a safe performing wick vessel fragrance oil combination. Okay, and now looking at these two, I am sure that I was correct. On the left is the CDN3 and the right is the CDN4. Okay, so I will say also that even though we are not checking for hot throw, some of them you can smell anyways. And this smell right here, the fireside marshmallow, is so good. And so the other thing that I am going to do is I am going to pour some more candles. Oh, that one has some mushrooming too and is burning a bit faster than the rest. So apparently the espresso likes to burn a little faster. Okay, so now we're over to, as I call it, the cocoa wax, which is actually coconut apricot. It looks like it says PTSD on this one, but it's actually P750. Funny though, I totally have PTSD. But we're not talking about any of that. Okay, so that would probably be good with a 3 CD2s, or maybe 2 CD2s and 1 CD3, which that idea I actually got from burning one of my candles from, sorry, it's hard to do this and concentrate, from Bath and Body Works. When it was burning, I could 100% tell that they had 2 of the same wick and then 1 different size. So, all right, that's 1 hour. Okay, so we haven't hit 2 hours yet, but I wanted to show you guys something. The 2 coconut apricot, the one in the back, is wisping up black soot, and so is the one in front of it. Oh, something else is too. Hold on. I think it's, yeah, so those ones are giving off soot. Yeah, I don't like that one. And then these guys here are giving a little bit of that too. Yeah, so the blue one, which is what I thought, that one's too big. And then I don't think, yeah, I don't like that one. And I don't like that one. For 2 hours, those are not behaving the way I like. This one I'm just moving momentarily. See if you can see what I'm talking about. So the melt pool is not bad, but I don't know how I feel about the wisping. So because I don't like that, I'm putting that one out. That one to me is a fail. And that goes with this one as well, because I would never be comfortable with a flame this big. So we're currently at 1 hour and 45 minutes. And I will show you how to pull those if I can figure out. Shoot, my battery really needs to be charging. I will show you guys that on another video, but it involves these and my other hand. But we will pull those wicks and give them new ones. I'm seeing a little bit of that action from this guy here too. Some soot is not okay, or is not bad, as long as it's not excessive. I think Derek is about home, so I'm going to pause this. All right, so this is hour 2, and this is looking over everything. We've only had 2 that we had to stop because of the sooting. And then these guys here. There's the one I pulled the wick. That was a wickless one, so I probably could have done that without needing to shut it off because it wasn't stuck to the bottom. But when that's finished cooling down, I'll put a different wick in, a little bit smaller because I didn't like the setting. And then I put a Ultimate 2.65 in that one instead of the 3 that was in there. There's the one I pulled out. Don't look at the note beside it, that's wrong. But you can see that it's a lot thinner. And then as for the burning on these ones, I'm happy with these. That one's probably too big. That one I made ages ago, so I'm burning it just for the hell of it. And then the 2 that I changed out wicks from the CD3s to the 4s last round are definitely burning better. So I'm liking these ones so far. Most of them are behaving as I would expect, as that's how they behaved last time with my successful candles and the CD3 wicks, although that one looks a little funky back there. What's going on? I don't know, maybe it's just the fact that I can't lean all the way over or I'll light myself on fire. And then those black ones are bigger containers, so, and different wicks. But so far I'm happy with how the CD3s slash a couple CD4s and 30 other candles are burning. So we're at 2.5 hours, and this one here is giving up poofs of soot. See if I can catch it on video. So is the one in the back. I'm not sure, I've never really used the Premier wicks, so I'm curious if that's common with them. I also feel like that's not a 3.5, I feel like that's a 2.5. I'll have to compare that. So, what I was, oh, there was a poof. I was going to go ahead and put this one out. Yep, it's poofing. All 3 of them are poofing. So I was going to go ahead and put that one out. I was going to leave the not the paraffin one, the Premier. See that precision? All those candles around it, and I only put out that one. And so this was one of my wickless testes. Oh, one of my wickless tests. So it takes no effort to pull that CD3 wick out. If it had a wick tab, that would be a different story. So I'd be curious how maybe, I don't know, maybe a couple of CD2s, or let's try Eco 2s. I'll be right back. But before I get there, I poured 4 soy 10 candles with 8, 9, 11, and 12% Baccarat Rouge by Virginia Candle Supply. And those will be wickless testing as well, in a 8-ounce container that holds 6.5 ounces of wax. So we are at 2.5 hours. Mm. 2.5. All I know is this is going to be a really long video. So if any of you guys actually make it all the way through, I commend you, and you must be interested in what I'm doing or what you're doing, which is more likely because you're probably doing something similar at home, and I applaud you because it ain't easy being cheesy, especially if you're me. I'm cheesy, cheesy, cheesy. This is me on a regular basis. If I post this one online, remember, I am supposed to be getting Wicks, Eco 2s. But I also wanted to show you one more thing. It's really sunny right here. So as previously mentioned, I am also trying to make my own tart blends. Sun is right in my eyes. So during the recess, I poured 3 candles, 3 tart waxes, 3 clamshells with 30% refined paraffin and 70% soy 10. There's my math. 2.6 times 3 equals 6.8. 30% of that was 2.34. The other 70% was 5.46, which equals 154.79 grams, which meant I needed 66.33 grams of paraffin. And then 8% was the fragrance load I chose. I used toasted graham marshmallow that my boyfriend Derek picked, and the amount that I needed for 8% was 0.57, which equaled out to 16.16 grams of fragrance oil. So the hopes is that these bad boys shrink a little bit, become nice and hard, look pretty, and smell great, hot and cold. So that is one thing that's really nice about soy 10 is it has like this beautiful top. So you can kind of see here that paraffin gets a little bit of that wavy top to it, right? But remember my last batch like crystallized. And so far, I don't see any of that happening with this. So I'm really excited to see how this works out. And I will let you know in another video. Now, there's that wick. I know it's somewhere over here. Did somebody say that making candles was easy? Alright, so these ones are from West Coast Candle Supply. And I'm looking for Eco 2. I could also possibly, oh, there's Eco 1, Eco 1.5. Eco 2. So I've got 3 of those left. Yeah, I think I'm going to try those. Alright, so I'm going to try and focus more on what I'm doing. So if this is the middle, go about right there. So I'm going to throw something out there. I'm trying to do this easier by doing it while it's still soft. See, it's still soft. Yes, I will have to hit this with a heat gun, but now I messed it all up. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to regret making that ugly, and I'm going to wait like I should have to begin with until it's cool and poke some holes in it and put the wicks in then. Meh. Okay, so 3 hours. Crooked. One of the things I also like to do once these burns are over is to look at how the wicks look at how the melt pools dry to get a better idea of what's actually happening. So this one probably needs smaller wicks, but I'm not like really testing that one. I'm just kind of testing that one because it's there and I was burning it. So these ones we're going to take a little picture of. This is my 3 hour mark. And then you know me, we're going to go ahead and do, well, we'll do, da-da-da, da-da-da. These are the two with the CD4s. Oh, my first video of these, I would scooch them together and I would compare them side by side. I'm not going to do that this time, obviously, considering we are 3 hours in. So yeah, obviously I'm not doing that. I love Zoom. Now we do the same back here. We got a picture of the front. And then we'll go 1, 2. Front. 1, 2. Front. Just got some pretty upsetting news. My daughter's father is going to have brain surgery to take a mass out that is going from inside his brain through the mesh that was put in when he was shot in the head 25 years ago. So yeah, they don't know if the mass is cancer. They are not able to do any kind of radiation or even a biopsy at the moment because it is going through the mesh that was placed after the gunshot. But they're going to put in an entirely new 3D printed mesh when they go in to take the mass out. I assume that is when we will find out if it is cancerous or not. All right, we will be back in an hour. I will say, walking into this many candles, how can you not feel a little bit better? Especially when finding out that your child's dad really might have cancer, but that he won't know until after he has full-on open skull surgery. All right, so I like this one. I also love the glow of these without my light on. Okay, so I'll start here. This was a soy 10 candle that I made when I first started. You can kind of see where the melt pool is if you can see the line, which for 4 hours is actually pretty deep. So that one would need smaller wicks. I apologize, I don't actually remember what they are aside from Ultra Core. So that one goes out first. Like a boss. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move that one. And so this one is it's an ultimate 02.5. 4 hours with coconut apricot wax. I dig. Couldn't tell you about scent throw yet, but I'm looking for safety and a good burn. All right. And now this little guy's been struggling the whole time. It is an ultimate 2.375. Tunneling needs bigger than that. All right. Then here we have a Whisper 3.5, according to that, which also looks really good for what I want these to look like. I'm really happy with that. All right, so slowly moving these. All right, so then back here, this one was a Premier 7.45. We'll see if it catches up on subsequent burns. Whoa, I meant to go the other way. My bad, guys. Okay. So, one thing about me that you'll hear me talk about frequently in my videos is that making candles, burning candles, testing candles, things that smell good help me feel better. I think I'm really happy with that one. And that one I still think will catch up too. Even that one could catch up. So now let's go to these guys. So this is a CD3 with the coconut apricot, or as I will now write, cocoa. Oh no, cocoa. Oh, gosh. This video is going to be like 3 hours long, I swear. And then Bite Me with also a CD3 and coconut apricot. Yep, I really like that one, especially since that one's centered. Okay. So those are my coconut apricot. And then this was the CD4, because the first burn, the CD3, was not working with that vanilla. You can see it's got a little bit of hang up. And I like that. There's the melt pool. All right. And then next, got CD3 with cotton candy. I keep meaning to go out, but instead I'm going in. Okay, so I did a little cheater. Yes, I can smell it. All right, so da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. That's the sound of me taking pictures, by the way. Because yes, I secretly do want to know if these smell good or not. All right, we're going to do front row first. This was also a CD4 because the CD3 tunneled with the blueberry crisp. The CD4 is looking brilliant. It's just what it needed. All right. So next, I have sugar lemon. That one looks like it's got a pretty good melt pool. It actually looks deeper than it really is. But, oh, that is so pretty. Yeah. Wow. And there's my cover photo. Okay. So, sugar lemon. It's got some mushrooming. That's okay though. Trying to only put out the one candle. I'd like to see you do it. Really though, I'd love to see you do it. All right, and then Baccarat, number 1. These are the ones I really want to know how they're smelling. So at some point I will likely do these on their own. Right. Marshmallow Fireside. Funny, that one, the ones with the deeper melt pools, they could almost do a 2. Alright, birthday cake. Oh, almost blew it out too early. Alright, and then these two here, I'm digging these. So that's the CDN3 and the CDN4. I definitely like the CDN4 better on this vessel. Those look great. Loving that. I don't know if I ever finished my thought, but having real life stuff going on and all these candles gives me something else to think about that makes me happy. Alright, so Baccarat Rouge, 9%. This one was pretty uncentered, but I've been kind of trying to fix it as it goes. Looks good. I'll let you look at these while I try and smell this. Yeah, there's a hot throw. But the real test, of course, will be on its own. But I'm doing a mass test. Baccarat Rouge, 10%. I feel like that's because it's uncentered still. That one almost looks like it's maybe too small. But we will check all these out once they've cooled. So now we're going to go over here, look at the espresso. That one has a bigger wick. Mushroom, I mean. But that's okay. Oh yeah, that's totally fine. Okay, moving on, lilac. Oh, almost got the wrong one. Okay, and then, oh yeah, teakwood mahogany. My boyfriend is very patient. We're going to out to eat, and he knew I was testing candles and that we didn't leave until the 4 hours was up. So now he's waiting 20 minutes for me to get through this. Okay, and then I like trying to have these in order. I guess have them something like this. Oh yeah. I'm not actually sure. Maybe these ones were back like this. Yeah, that must be it. Alright, so far, see, those are the ones. See how all the wicks are a little bit different? Alright, so now Northwest Pine. Little tobacco and bay leaf. I'll put out a row at a time now instead of putting them out individually. Oh yeah, that one looks great. Actually, no, I'm going to put these two out. Alright, so there's the Northwest Pine. Tobacco and bay leaf. Volcano, I love that one. Oh, I can definitely smell the Northwest Pine. Have some smoke. Hello, Baccarat. Baccarat 8. In case you guys can't tell, I really am on a mission to get me some good Baccarat scented candles. I even have the real one. Alright, and there's that one. Derek will be happy to know there's only 4 to go. Alright, so Baccarat 8 again. That one looks like it's got a deep melt pool. Not sure if I would want to go with a CD2, but it's I almost think I could. Or I could try a CDN3. Except for I really like the heat throw on that one. Oh, man. I really didn't want that piece of the mushroom to fall in there, so I used my nail and dug it out. So I had to pause for the cause. Okay. Ooh, iced vanilla woods. Cosmic skies. Triple citrus. And then coming back. Must have been off-centered some. Almost looks like it could benefit from a little bit bigger one. And this scent is not super strong either, so that one may need adjustments. All right, down to the last little guy. And I really thought that I would like this scent a lot when I first got it. And I'm sure there's stuff that I will like it in. But then again, I don't have to like everything. And if you guys don't like it, I could just quit carrying it. So of the scents you saw me testing today, which ones would you be most excited to smell? And which ones would you not want to smell? Alrighty. My massive test burn is complete. And then tomorrow we will go ahead and do it again. All right, so that's everything that was tested. We had 3 that failed. Another one I'm not super excited about. That one tunneled. And all of these will continue safety testing. All right, let me know in the comments what you think.